Welcome to this micro learning module designed to just give you a taster of how you can get started as a trainer. This session will last around 10 minutes and will give you a basic overview of the first steps you should take when designing a training session. My name's Jude and I'm a senior training consultant and instructional designer. So feel free to pause and rewind the content as you go along. But if you'd like to learn more, we offer group and one-to-one trainer skills workshops and coaching sessions. More details about that at the end of this module. So, how do you put together an effective training course? Well, your starting point should actually always be the end. That's to say that you should consider the results of the training, what you want to achieve. So I have a question for you. What do you want people to do by the end of the training you're writing? Explore this question in some detail. Remember that training is all about people. It's about developing the right knowledge, skills, and attitude within the people on your training program. So, knowledge. Well, it's just how it sounds. Do they know the right information about the topic? Do they know sufficient information about it? What are the gaps to be filled? Think about the people. Skills, then, that's the application of that knowledge. So one way to think about it is, well, I know the theory of making a cake or driving a car, but could I actually apply those skills proficiently at the right time and in the right way? Learning skills takes practice, even if you know the theory behind it. So, and remember to allow time and opportunities to practice the new skills. Attitude then refers to helping learners to understand the underlying why of things. Why it's important they need to do this thing. Why is it important that they understand the underpinning reason and rationale for something? So if you start with your desired outcome in mind and remember that a good training session is all about the people involved, then you're off to a really good start. So then, once you've considered your end point, you can now start to work out the plan to get you there. In other words, to achieve the desired outcome. Again, it really comes back down to thinking about the people you are working with. So you need to make an assessment of the existing levels of knowledge, skills, and attitude so that you can gauge the input needed to deliver the outcome. But let's face it, very few of us respond positively to attending training that's teaching Granny to suck eggs. You know, we walk away with that, well, there's another 3 hours of my life I'm never getting back. So the more accurately and appropriately you can assess existing knowledge levels, the more appropriate and engaging your training will be. So this process is usually called a training needs analysis. Now, the gold standard approach to this would be to conduct an individualised assessment of the learning needs of each participant in your training. But obviously, this isn't always practicable. So maybe find a way around it. You need to talk to managers or staff themselves and any other stakeholders to make a more generalised assessment of the skills gap that you need to address with your training. People will thank you for this. So, before you've even begun to write any content or any training or started a presentation, and we'll talk more later about presentations, you need to define the objectives of your course in detail. Think again about what you want people to be able to do by the end of the session. So here's another way of thinking about it. So start with the sentence, by the end of this training session, participants will be able to, and then make it smart, specific, measurable, achievable, results orientated, and time bound. So by specific, you want to break down your learning objectives to a level that you can specifically state a thing you want somebody to do. Making it measurable means that you're asking them to demonstrate that they either can perform the skill or the action, or that they can describe how it would be done, so that you can definitely indicate that somebody has achieved that learning. Talking of which, achievable. Don't set targets that are beyond the scope or the time you have available. Make sure it can be achieved within the session and that is a realistic achievement for those who are participating. Results orientated then is about making it an outcome, a result, the result of the learning, and that there is a specific thing that you can identify as achieving the desired result. And time bound. Again, know that you and your learners will achieve this thing by the end of the session, not by the end of the month, not in some kind of nebulous future. They will achieve it during the session. So a good learning objective will break down the learning into small chunks that learners can demonstrate their grasp of during the session itself. Rather than having an objective that says understand how a cake is made, for example, it's better to have an objective that says make a cake. That way, everyone knows that the participant can indeed make a cake and that they understand the steps required to achieve this. So, to be fair, I would break my learning objectives down into even smaller chunks than saying make a cake. So, for example, cream together the butter and sugar, describe how to grease a baking tin. Yeah, so really baby steps. Now, you don't need to kind of labour that point. You don't need to go, right, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations, you have ticked off that first objective. But actually, it is a signpost of learning for people. It reassures the learners and it gives you your route map to deliver the training. Okay, so now what? Well, now you need to go on to actually creating the training program itself, devising the content, designing the structure and the examples and the activities that you want your learners to do. And the more engaging and involving that is, in other words, telling isn't training, the better your outcomes will be. So to learn more, please get in touch with us. We offer one-to-one training and coaching. We offer group introduction to training courses. So visit us at hickorylearning.uk or email hello@hickorylearning.uk. Thanks very much for watching this short session. Speak to you again soon.